today to explore all of the things the facility has to offer, see what's up at NASA, and get a little bit more information for you guys about the things that go on inside NASA. Whether we went to the moon or not, I don't know if I can ask that question. Probably not. They'll probably kick me out for asking that question. But the first thing they're doing is bringing the canines down to sniff out our bags. And I'm kind of excited. Hopefully I can film it, but if not, I'm sorry. But if I can, enjoy. Let's go to NASA. Woo! Okay, so I'm gonna do a little unboxing right here. Well, unbagging. They gave us little goodie bags, and I just wanted to see what's inside it real quick before we go. So first of all, we get a 2019 International Space Station calendar, which has photos of and from the ISS, which is probably the coolest calendar I've ever had in my life. Thank you. Little poster from the ISS. We've got a little exploring ground systems, the official insider program guide. This is all about Mars, getting to Mars, that kind of stuff. Perfect. My favorite, freeze-dried ice cream. Gotta love it. You gotta love some space ice cream. That's like a NASA must. We've got a bunch of NASA stickers. We've got stickers of the rovers. We've got a cool photo of a rocket sticker. And we've got a nice little 20th anniversary International Space Station magazine. Very cool. Thank you guys for the materials. Let's go to NASA. At the news conference center area. This is where all the news stations set up. We've got AT&T over here. We got CBS News over there. We have the CR-17. There's like a billboard out there. This is amazing. We're already having a great time. We haven't even like gotten anywhere. We just stopped to go to the bathroom and I'm having a great time. It's awesome. Hope you guys enjoy this vlog. Thank you for coming to NASA with me. So after Space Kennedy, I gotta go to SpaceX in Hawthorne, California. So that's my next mission after this one is going to SpaceX. And then I gotta go to Vandenberg. You guys know the drill. There's a lot of rocket things I need to do in my life. We're getting started here at NASA Space Kennedy Center. So check it out, we are about to do a briefing, a live briefing of what is in the payload going in the CR-17 to ISS, and this is freaking cool.
Good morning and welcome to Kennedy Space Center for your What's on Board briefing, where we will have more than 5,500 pounds of research and crew hardware flying up on the Falcon 9 Heavy rocket on May 1st at 3:59 in the morning.
For those of you who haven't heard of the National Laboratory before, our focus is on providing access to the space environment for research and technology development that has direct benefits here on Earth.
The ISS National Lab is partnered with a branch of the National Institutes of Health that is providing funding to support the use of tissue chip technology for research on board the space station to benefit human health on Earth. 4 of these tissue chips in space investigations are launching on this mission. Tissue chips, small chips containing human cells grown on an artificial scaffold to model the structure and function of human tissue, enable better disease modeling and higher accuracy drug screening.
And what are we doing? We're trying to measure atmospheric carbon dioxide. So I'm going to give you a little background. I have a figure here that's the Keeling curve, or a measurement of carbon dioxide since 1958. You may be familiar with this. You see 2 things here. The black line's just going up over time. That's our increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide amounts. There's a red line, and that's the more monthly number. So every season, there's a change. We have plants growing in the spring. They take carbon dioxide out and draw down the carbon dioxide. Leaves fall off in the winter, and that carbon dioxide goes back in the atmosphere. So that's why that red curve goes up and down. And why is it increasing? Because humans keep adding carbon dioxide in. We're burning fossil fuels like gas and coal and oil, and it's increasing. But the plants are actually doing us a huge favor. Those plants in the ocean take about half of the atmospheric carbon dioxide that humans emit out every year. But some years it's 20%, some years it's 80%, and we've got to figure out why that is. If we want to know What's this going to be in 2050? We have to understand the processes, which part of Earth is changing, which part, is it driven by weather, by precipitation, by drought? So that's the kind of science we want to get out of this mission.
I'm from NASA Johnson Space Center, from the Astromaterials Research and Exploration Science Division. So we're actually a planetary science group. So we're interested in studying planetary bodies. So in particular, my research and focus is on studying asteroids. So the goal of Hermes is to study the surface material of asteroids. And this is something that we call regolith. So if you look at asteroids, or if you look at the moon, you'll see this layer of regolith covering the surface. So this fine particles, fine dust that covers the entire surface. And so you'll find this regolith on airless bodies, bodies that don't have atmospheres. So what's happening is the solar system is very dynamic, and we have asteroids and meteoroids moving around and impacting different bodies. So on Earth this happens too, right? But what happens is because we have an atmosphere, the particles come in through the atmosphere and mostly burn up. When they make it all the way to the ground, that's when we have a meteorite. But on an asteroid, this doesn't happen because we don't have an atmosphere. So the surface is getting bombarded all the time. So you have this fine layer of fragments on the surface. So that's what we're interested in studying.
And we have partnered, we're delighted to partner with the International Space Station National Lab on a program called Tissue Chips in Space. So I'm going to tell you what on earth are tissue chips and why on earth, see what I did there, why on earth we send them to space, right? So this is a tissue chip. This is a tiny bioengineered device that contains living human cells that are designed to recreate the structure and function of your tissues in your body. Could be your tissues, could be your tissues, could be your grandma's tissues. All of these cells can survive and live in this environment, and the idea is that we can use these to model diseases so we can understand better disease pathology and how disease begins, but we can also test drugs or treatments or therapeutics in this system in a way that is not testing them directly in humans or in animals, but we can get really quite realistic results from testing the human tissues in these tissue chips. That means that we can understand better, not just diseases, but also how drugs will affect human tissues.
Why are we looking at vitamin D metabolism in microgravity? So, what we know from experience is that bone loss in microgravity is highly accelerating, upwards of 10% loss per month. And so what we're actually doing is using this unique environment of microgravity to look at accelerated bone loss, i.e. osteoporosis. And so we actually hope to learn in a matter of a course of weeks is how does osteoporosis by vitamin D metabolism occur in a disease which typically takes place over the course of years, if not decades. And so we're actually going to be sending up onto the space station 24 of these chips. What are the advantages of actually doing organs on chips versus, say, doing studies in people? So we recently learned a lot from the twin study of Mark and Scott Kelly, no relation. But what we learned actually is a lot of different things occur in microgravity. But in studies in people, we have a limited access in terms of the biological samples we're looking at, things like blood and urine. You certainly can't look at kidney biopsies on astronauts in space. And so we can actually learn from this system is a lot more of what's going on at the cellular level in these systems. So this is a great advantage of looking at this. And so we're actually sending up 24 of these chips to the International Space Station. So that's 72 individual tubules. Because of this large number of chips we're actually sending up to the space station, we're actually looking at biological variability. In that we're looking at 4 individual kidney donors, 2 males and 2 females.
So DNA is the blueprint of life, right? So it encodes all our genetic information, and it gets transcribed to RNA, which is translated to proteins, which of course help all of our cells function. Unfortunately, DNA can also break sometimes, and since it's so important, it's really important to maintain the integrity of the DNA. And so since it's such a laborious process, we wanted to study how these breaks are repaired in space. There are a few primary mechanisms cells use to repair these breaks. The most common one is actually error-prone, so it can introduce mutations which harm the cell. There's an alternative pathway which is error-free, but you need a special repair template. Can I get the next slide? So this relates to astronauts in space because astronauts undergo high radiation from HC ions or galactic cosmic rays, which can lead to these double-stranded breaks. So it's really important for us to learn how repair pathways function in space and what the relative frequency of these pathways are to avoid having errors in these astronaut cells. So therefore, if we can figure out the relative frequencies of the repair pathways, maybe we can choose the right drugs to mitigate erroneous DNA repair. So our objective in this experiment was to examine how repair pathway frequencies and double-stranded break repair as a whole are affected by microgravity. And we hypothesized that the error-prone pathway will actually increase in space relative to the error-free pathway.
All right, so we just had the payload briefing for everything that's going to be on the CR-17 rocket payload that goes up to the International Space Station. Lots of research that's being done up there that can't be done here on Earth. So it's really cool to see some of the stuff, some of the science behind what goes up into the International Space Station. I don't know what we're doing next, but I'm having a great time, and we're at NASA. We're at NASA. It's amazing. I can't believe I'm here. This is crazy. Thank you, NASA Social, for having me out. Really cool opportunity. Let's continue on with our day. So right now we are eating lunch in the NASA cafeteria. It's the NASA cafeteria over here. And they have a Subway and they have a barbecue place. And I'm just having a great time. I'm just gonna keep telling you how great of a time I'm having until you understand that I'm having a great time. Pad right now, you guys. I don't want to bust my face over these great thingies, but this is where all the flames come out of, right here. Holy shit. This is a fire trench. Wow. Fire is cool, man. Oh, I don't know if we can go right here. I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Just trying to capture as much as possible. I don't even know what I'm really doing. I just have my camera and I have a DJI Osmo Pocket and I have my GoPro and a couple lenses. And I'm trying not to get hit by a car right now. But we are at Launch Pad B. B as in Bravo. Get you a little bit of content here. Enjoy. So I can't believe that we are allowed to be here right now, because if there was a rocket going off right now, we would be dead, because this is a fire trench and this is where all the flames come out from a rocket when it launches. But we are at Pad B right now, and I'm just, capturing as much content as I possibly can, really, like everybody else here. But this is really, really cool. Such a cool opportunity and a great experience. NASA Social, keep doing these. These are great. I'll come back to the next one and the next one after that for sure. Alright, so right now we are checking out this facility. This is basically where they do a bunch of the testing. I'll get you some more information about it in a second, but I'm doing a time lapse of the clouds going by. Most of this footage I can use as stock footage for like Adobe stock, Pond 5, Shutterstock, things like that, because NASA is a government agency, which means publicly open for, I don't really need to get licensing for these photos or anything, because it's a government agency. Same with SpaceX, because SpaceX is, I think it's because it's public. I think that it's the same kind of thing. I can sell those photos as well. So I will be giving away prints from this trip on my Instagram, no.tracers. If you guys want any photo prints, I'll be giving away some photo prints from this this excursion here at NASA Space Kennedy Center. And so if you guys aren't following me over there, you should definitely follow me. I'm going to be giving away prints. I'm going to be giving away all kinds of stuff. And if you want to support me on Patreon, you get free prints. Well, you pay per video, but you guys get high quality exclusive prints, early access to these videos, things like that. A lot of perks, Skype calls, things like that. So if you want to support me on Patreon, even with just $1 per video, it would make a huge difference for me. Thank you guys. Here's some more information about this facility we're at. Mobile launch platform for the SLS.
This is what we're going to stack the new SLS on. And that's just only for EFT1. EFT2, we're going to build another one, but it's going to be taller, bigger.
Wow.
It's going to be built right over there.
Amazing.
So this is in here for integration. You get all the wiring and everything. Talk to each other because it's in firing. It's going to work through firing room 1. As soon as it gets everything, because we ripped all the old wiring out from the shuttle days, which was we had patched in from the Apollo shuttle days. It was all smashed together, so we ripped all that out. And I think it was about 700 tons of copper wire we ripped out of there. So now we're all back to fiber optics. So big bundle, 8 inches wide, big around, it's now the size of your finger. And we're getting 3 times the data out of it. So everything is just, you know, we went digital, computer-wise. So got rid of all the copper stuff and everything. As soon as this is done here, we'll be in here probably probably about 3-4 more months. Out to the pad it goes out there, integrate out there. So you got to make sure all the platforms and everything fit where they're supposed to. It looks good on paper, but half these engineers were scattered around the country. They didn't work in the same office, but they just all come together. A lot of it did work, but some of the platforms were off about a ½ inch. You can't be a ½ inch off, you got to be dead on. So we'll do the same thing when we get to the pad out there. We'll integrate everything, make sure the wiring from there, firing room 1, everybody talks to each other.
Wow, amazing.
Everybody's got to be happy.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, just do a little time lapse of the clouds. Some Tennessee gravel right here. Don't take a rock. I've been informed that we cannot steal the rocks. No stealing of the rocks, guys. It's not allowed.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I was told we can't steal the rocks. It's unfortunate. This is real. This is really happening right now. Yeah, with the sun flare in there, this is great. Okay, so the crawler, this is literally the highway to the moon right here, guys. The crawler goes a mile per hour on this little stretch of gravel all the way to the launch pad, which is where we're going right now.
All the shuttles and every shuttle, every Saturn V lunar rocket. The Apollo 10 Saturn V went launched from pad B. It was only one launched from B, all the others launched from pad A.
Pretty fucking cool. Oh my god. Amazing.
And also too, this is the same road that the astronauts rode down to go to the launch pads road too.
Wow. What a trip. Get a shot.
I just moved I moved out from Florida, so now I can't go back to Florida. And so, right now I'm doing I got all like she could help force out there with the
Since we have 5 minutes, might as well. Hope you guys are enjoying these cinematics. I'm having a blast. I'm just gonna keep telling you that I'm having a blast. I know I said that like a clip ago, but I'm having a blast. Like a rocket blast.
I'm a scientist here, and I get to run a lot of the prop selection and ground research experiments that go on in these chambers. The chambers behind me are pumped with CO2, and we simulate a ISS environment. So I don't have too much time, so let's just go in and take a look. One of them, we're looking at light recipes. You know, what kind of light recipes do we need for plants to grow? In this case, we're growing peppers in there, and there's different varieties. without using artificial lighting, what we've done is we set up a tomato growth experiment. We expose the seeds to radiation, and then we're growing them to see how well or they do grow or how well they don't grow. That was pretty cool.
Size. A few things that aren't shown on here is we will take a calibration gas with us, and we will take a dust cover. Let me fix this because it's just, that's a little better. It's rapid prototype. It's not glued together properly there.
So is there a limit to how many things NASA will send to the moon? Like, is there like, we're not gonna like colonize it, so we only want this many people here. Is there like a limit to it yet, or?
No. I don't think we're anywhere near it, so I don't think they've had to discuss that yet.
Yeah.
You do have there's a thing called planetary protection. So when you go to another planet, specifically one with an atmosphere, you have to be very careful about the cleanliness. You can't take microbes with you because you don't want to take life. You don't want to contaminate it.
And that's why everyone wears gloves when they work on everything.
When we're the flight hardware, it's gloves,
That's really because of outgassing, so your fingers have oils on it.
Right.
And so if you touch anything, and then so that chamber right there, that is a lunar, it's a thermal vac chamber. So it's got like a big jet engine on the bottom of it that sucks it down to like 10 to the minus 10 torr. And so we can get down to really low vacuum, and that's where we do our testing. If you have a fingerprint in there, you might only get to 10 to the minus 6 torr. So that oil that you leave from just touching something will have enough gas in there that it'll continually off-gas and off-gas.
It's phenomenal.
And you'll never get to where you need to be.
You take out your contamination control. I mean, what was it they said after you smoke a cigarette, 60 minutes later you're still putting out 300,000 particles just from the cigarette you smoked?
Wow.
I mean, the humans are the #1 source of contamination. That's why you're protecting the instrument from you.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of crazy, just the dead skin that comes off everything. It's really insane when you look at it.
We're disgusting, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
We're fucking gross.
I feel so like.
Yes. You'll never want to sleep again.
Wow.
But yeah, so we definitely have to protect that. Class A, you cannot mess up. Class B is like your Hubble, your James Webb Telescope, that type of stuff. Class D is your higher risk, where you go, if it fails, we're okay with that, but we're not going to spend nearly as much money. No one can get safety is never compromised. Class A, B, C, and D all have the same safety requirements, especially when humans are involved. What you are allowed to do is I'm allowed to say, you know what, I used just cheaper bolts on this. I tested a bunch of them, I'm okay with it. I'm risk aware. I'm not naive about it, but in order to save $100,000, I went with off-the-shelf stuff, that type of thing. So we do radiation testing and try and get ourselves in the best position, but we're not going to go rad hard, is what the term they use, all across the board. We are risk informed, so we went to their electronics and said, A, B, and C got to go. Can we replace it with C, D, and E, or D, E, and F? And they said yes. And we worked with the firmware developers to make sure that we could do that. And so it was very interesting to have that type of insight into their design. And now they're interested in possibly using our radiation tolerant design in radiation harsh environments on Earth, like particle colliders and that kind of stuff. So they can benefit from what we've done, and we can benefit, from their insight. So it's a really good partnership.
Cool.
Awesome.
So the first piece of the gateway we call a power propulsion element. There's already solicitation out for that. We have the bids in, and we'll be selecting a winner in probably about a month. So we are on the way to building the gateway. And then the Vice President, you might have heard, he gave us an imperative to land on the surface of the moon in 2024. So what we envisioned as the gateway may change a little bit as we're trying to focus those priorities on what we already had in place. We still think we need a gateway because it allows us to have reusability, and it can be a waypoint so that you can refuel lunar landers and be a staging point for materials that go back and forth from the lunar surface. So we still think it's an important piece. So we're trying to reformulate maybe what the gateway looks like in light of those new priorities. But we still think a form of the gateway will be a necessary piece of our back.
All Alright, we are now headed into Hangar AE1. This is where the Data Communication Center is at. It's just a big old hangar. It's been here since the 50s, I believe. And this is where they collect data and share data throughout the entire NASA facility. They can connect to any of the launch pads. They're not launch pad limited. And I'm gonna let them tell you more information because, again, I am not smart enough to know all the things that go on at this facility. Let's go. Check it out. This is where they analyze data and telemetry in this room right here. There's all these computers, all these chairs, all this data that they log, and we're only allowed to be in here and film in here because they're not running any tests.
This is what we call the fish tank. Why do we call that a fish tank or fishbowl area? Well, you can see through the glass.
So my first patch was the Mars Science Laboratory, the big rover that's on Mars. And so I was like, I'm so excited to put this on this door. So that was my patch.
Are you gonna do a slow motion redo of putting the patch on for us? Memories. That is.
Space Center at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Thank you, NASA Social, for having me and all of these other social media people out here. Tomorrow we are going to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center all day. I'm going to be wearing my Spider-Man suit tomorrow, so you guys better come back for that. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. It lets me know that you liked it. If you guys want to support me on Patreon, head to patreon.com/JustTheLetterK. If you donate $1 per video, if you donate $5 per video, you get digital downloads of prints of photos that I take on my explorations. If you pledge $10 or more, you get thanked in all my videos. $50, we do Skype calls, so on and so forth. Go check it out if you guys are interested in supporting me further. I would love for you to help me out on Patreon. Thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Stay strong, keep enduring. This has been NASA. Woo!